Here is a little training update with Stray and kind of an example of working with a horse that's sensitive and scared. She has been saddled before, multiple times by me, and she was saddled a few times by the previous owner, but you can see that she is a little apprehensive. She's fine with the pad, but then I start to go for the saddle and she gets very upset and agitated. So if I wanted to just throw that saddle up there, she would tolerate it, but that's not really what I'm going for. I don't want her to be upset when I bring the saddle out. So I'm going to acknowledge that she's nervous and wait and give her some time and let her think about not being nervous about the saddle and let her understand that I see that she's nervous and that she can trust me, and I'm not going to throw things at her that overwhelm her. Because she is a compliant mare, I think that things have been thrown at her that she wasn't mentally and emotionally prepared for. And I want to break through that. I think the key with this mare is to really build her trust and let her know that I'm not going to do anything that's going to overwhelm her, and that's going to break through to the point where she can be a riding horse that's dependable. So a moment ago in the video, her head was down and relaxed, and then I moved to the saddle again and the head is up and she's got that look of apprehension. So I'm just waiting and petting and waiting for her to breathe. What you can't see on the video is her body actually begins to tremble and tense up. So I decided to just take everything away and give her a moment to process and think. And you can see that kind of confuses her because she's used to people just continuing on, even though she is tense. And you can see there she's doing a little lick and chew. And now she's relaxing a little bit. So I'm just starting over, and you can see that she is more relaxed but still apprehensive. She has no interest in sniffing the saddle, even though she will sniff the saddle pad. I have noticed that this mare is sensitive to smells and is offended by a lot of smells. If I have something to eat that she doesn't like prior to going to get her, she'll smell it on my hands and snort and spook. She was okay with the girth until it was about time for me to put it on, and then you can see she's not real happy about that idea. She's very sensitive in her girth area. Even when I brush her, she's very flinchy there. So she hasn't learned to really accept touch and pressure in that area very well. So the important thing is I'm not going to just grab that girth and cinch it up. I'm going to reach under there, and you can see her flinch. And I'm going to put some pressure and then release, and pressure and then release. And you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just letting her feel that the pressure is going to come, and then holding the girth there and petting her and giving her a moment to breathe and relax. I put the girth on snug, but not too tight, and I noticed that she was kind of tense and holding her breath. So I decided I would get some horse cookies and just have her chew and give her a moment to breathe and relax. I was also noticing that she was kind of frozen in her body, so I was trying to get her feet to move a little bit. You can see that she was pretty resistant to backing up and her feet felt really stuck. And then I just was checking to see that the girth was snug so it wouldn't go anywhere. And again, I just stepped away to give her a moment to chew and relax before I decided to do anything else. Here I'm trying to see if her feet are unstuck. And you can see they were a little stuck and then she moved kind of quickly. So before I moved on to the bridle, I decided I'd better turn the camera off and take her for a little walk and let her move her body and relax with the saddle on before I added any more pressure. The bridle is actually a bigger point of concern for this mare than the saddle is. She gets very concerned when the bridle comes out. And I've put a bridle right on her before, and she will tolerate it, but again, that's not what I'm going for. I want her to be relaxed about it, and I want her to be a willing partner with it, not just compliant. So although I could just get the bridle on, what I've been working on is having her relax and give her head and help me put the bridle on. And I could spend a lot more time with this, but time is limited for me to work with her, and I do want to get stuff done. So I'm taking my time, but I'm not taking as much time as I probably could. So I'm just giving her moments to acknowledge the bridle and take it away so that she does it calmly. And then I just want to put it up to her head without her panicking or being upset about it, and then take it away. I think if I just follow these steps every time, pretty soon it won't be a point of contention with her. And you can see she's licking and chewing and processing that. So there's lots of waiting with this mare, like putting the bit up to her mouth and then waiting. I want it to be her idea to accept the bit. I don't want to jam the bit in her mouth or pry her mouth open. She knows what I want. She doesn't want to do it. And I wait. And then she relaxes and then complies. And you can see she's not really upset about it. She does mouth the bit quite a bit. I don't think she's had a bit in her mouth that often. But because I waited for her every time she got tense, it wasn't a big fight. And she did it without feeling like I forced it on her. So this was actually a different day. I did put the bridle on her because I want her just carrying that bit in her mouth and having the practice of having the bridle go on. But I do have a halter over the bridle and the lead rope is attached to the halter. She is extremely sensitive to bit pressure, and so I don't want her being tense and learning to drop behind the bit or pull against the bit or be offended by the bit. So right now I just want her to carry that bit. I'm just trying to get her to yield sideways and give in her body a little bit and relax. And she looks pretty good in the video, but again, what you can't see in the video is how tense she gets in her body and flinchy when I put my hand on her. And to the left is not too bad, but you'll see in a few minutes when I go to the right, I can't even put my hand on her at first. So I'm just looking for moments of relaxation. And what she tends to do is rush and then freeze, and then rush and then freeze. So I'm trying to find that relaxed, just stepping sideways with rhythm. And it takes some time with her in the beginning. So you can see the difference to the right. Head goes up, she's moving away from me. I haven't even attempted to put my hand up to touch her. So I'm just going with this. Again, big reaction, and I just looked at her. So I have to just go with this and find the relaxation here before I can attempt to touch her, but it's important that I'm able to touch her side while she's moving because my legs will be on her side when I ride her. Every time I tried to reach my hand out, she had a big reaction. So I just kept that up. I cut some of that video out, and here you can see I can start to touch her and we aren't having big explosions. And that's the goal. So the other thing we've been working on is lunging quietly with voice commands and not having big reactions. She still gets a little stuck when I ask her to move. Again, the challenge is getting that in-between reaction. She usually goes from feet stuck to big reaction. So this is huge for her that I asked her to walk off and she's just walking. Usually when we start lunging and I say walk, she blasts off in trot or canter. So we have made a lot of improvement here. And then the canter transition was still a little energetic, but it wasn't an explosion and it wasn't an overreaction. So my goal in lunging her isn't to wear her out or make her tired. It's to basically, with this mare, it's always about training her brain. So I just barely trotted a little bit, and now I'm trying to get her to relax back down and come to walk. And again, walking on the lunge is not easy for her, and it's something we're working on. So I'm kind of wiggling the rope and saying walk very calmly, and then if it looks like she's going to walk, releasing the pressure, but then she usually speeds back up. And so it took a couple laps to really get her to relax and decide to walk on that voice command. But this is a really big deal for her, and this is a big step for us. And her learning to listen to the voice commands, I think, is really important. So I cut a lot out so this video isn't too long, but I did a lot of walk, trot, walk transitions both directions. And then I moved on to canter, which is a big deal for her not to have an explosion in canter. The footage I left in here is actually going left in canter, which is not really her best way. and she doesn't always get the lead, but really just the fact that I ask for canter and she pops into canter without an explosion, that's huge for us. So I'm really happy with her progress and the voice command work we're working on, and pretty soon I think we're going to be long lining, and excited to see where this all leads.